stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
for everybody.
Clerk will call the roll.
Councilor Vido,
Present.
Councilor Lopez.
Here.
Councilor Rodriguez. Councilor Brown. Councilor Bishop. Councilor Tejada. Councilor Avellaneda. Councilor Robinson. Councilor Pilatanda. Councilor Garcia.
Present.
And Councilor Ray Recupero. 11 members present. You have a quorum. First
Public
order
speaking.
of the public speaking.
Public speaking. Anybody that wishes to speak, please come up to the podium, state your name and address. For the record, you have 4 minutes. And I understand that there are a group of people here representing. If you would like to pick a spokesman to come up and speak to you, that's welcomed as well. Él lo quiere decir en español. Que si hay un grupo de gente que quiere mandar a una persona que hable.
Estamos notando de que hay un grupo de personas acá y si pueden agarrar 1 o 2, 3 personas que van a hablar al respecto de lo que quieren hablar esta noche, por favor. Gracias.
You can go ahead. You can get started. Go ahead. Maureen, get started. Go ahead.
My name is Maureen.
Doña. Doña.
My name is Maureen Cawley, 150 Captain's Row. I'm here to speak very, very briefly, 2 minutes on 2 topics. One is the recent passage of a ordinance or whatever it was about the discount on water and sewer for homeowners. Now, I'm in favor of that, but only if it applies to all of us. Condo owners, renters, which is real tough because many of us rent from people who do not live in the community, let alone live in the building. But nonetheless, it is most important I've been a renter my whole adult life, and you know, every time, I never even ask them when they show up and they say my water and sewer bill went up or my taxes went up. I never even was smart enough to ask for proof of how much they paid. I just forked it over or I moved. And also, we have been referred to as subsidized, as though we were different from renters. Now, my whole life I paid market rate until 9.5 years ago when I got lucky and I finally, after years of trying, got subsidized housing. Now, what will happen to us, because those of us whose rent is connected to our income, to 30% of our income, in which, you know, we're Section 8. What will happen to us is that we will lose services as a result of the water and sewer bills being higher. Anyway, my point is we need to look at the bottom line here, which is why are these water and sewer rates so out of control here in the city of Chelsea? And the ordinance passed, but it's not to go into effect I believe it's next July. So essentially we have time, not time to waste, but time to get in there and make another ordinance that is more fair to all of us, whatever that might be. The other thing I want to talk about, I promised at the last city council meeting that every time I saw an incident of bullying in this council, I would call the people involved out on it every single time. So now it continues to continue. State organizations make a decision and then somebody comes in wanting to chastise the person by means of the city clerk, by means of the executive branch, when, in fact, the state found that person to be not guilty of anything charged. So, anyway, stop it, stop it, stop it. I'm sick and tired of using my time and energy and the time and energy of all the residents of Chelsea behind petty stuff. Grow up and stop it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Charlene McLean. I'm a resident at 100 Broadway, and I'm here tonight to again speak in regards to the recent vote on the 10% water rebate, a vote that passed 7-3, ostensibly to provide economic relief to resident homeowners and to slow the displacement of long-term residents due to increased costs associated with home ownership in Chelsea. What it does in practical terms is to increase costs for all condominiums, businesses, houses of worship, Soldiers Home, Chelsea Housing Authority, nursing homes, and other nonprofit agencies located in Chelsea. To the 7 councilors who voted yes on this measure, I would like to remind you that the City of Chelsea already has a program that provides a 10% water and sewer discount to resident owners age 65 and older. I would also like to remind you that by trying to help a few residents, you voted to shift the burden onto other stakeholders in the city without actually addressing the underlying issue. Why do our water and sewer rates increase so much every year? And what practical steps can we take to slow down the rate of increase? Moreover, many of the residents who are being displaced are tenants who can no longer afford the increasing rents in Chelsea. Presumably, landlords are just going to pass along all water and sewer increases to their tenants, so I fail to understand how this rebate actually helps those who are already financially stretched. And if the council is, as it has claimed to be, interested in increasing the rate of affordable home ownership in Chelsea, why is it determined to throw up roadblocks to achieving that goal? The only way we're going to add affordable housing stock in our tiny little city is by the way of multifamily buildings or condominiums. I'm also extremely perplexed as to why this measure was rushed through without any meaningful discussion or community input. Chelsea City Council has, over the past several years, stressed transparency, community involvement, and input. Why haven't we seen any of these with regards to this particular issue? In the absence of an adequate explanation, one is left to conclude that this vote happened when and how it did as a result of disappointingly self-serving motives. In closing, I respectfully say to the 7 Chelsea City Councilors who voted to approve this rebate, just because the measure has been voted upon and approved does not mean that it is a done deal. The council has the opportunity, and I would argue the obligation, to say we made a mistake by voting on this measure when and how we did, without having all of the facts and without consulting with any of the affected constituencies, and call for a rescission of the vote. You can then send the matter to a subcommittee on conference, as should have been done prior to the September 24th vote, to allow for a meaningful, deliberative inquiry and debate on the subject, and to allow community members to offer input. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Carmen D'Ambrosio Pagan. I'm living in Chelsea. I'm a resident for many, many years. And anytime I'm here, unfortunately, it's because I come in to ask you to do not raise the water bill, to do not raise the trash, because it's too much money. You have to understand. In my situation, it's only one person working in the house. I know we can qualify for 10% because we are older enough, but I have friends. I have neighbors. They can qualify. I'm here for my friends. I'm here for myself, for my husband, and all neighbors in Chelsea. I want to just thank you to the councils where they vote for the 10% to keep it, to not raise it, to discount the water raise. So the councils, they didn't approve, they no agree with this. They have to think about it next time. We're not gonna vote for them. They have to be careful what they do because they're here to help us. They're here to counsel. We're voting for them to help the neighbors, not to oppose it, to the neighbors, not to raise the water bills. I'm gonna say in Spanish a little bit. Estoy aquí porque yo soy una persona que tengo un solo income en la casa. Yo soy la única que trabajo en la casa, un cheque nada más. No es posible que el water estén subiendo cada vez más. Agradezco a los cónsuls que han aprobado que sí, que no suban y que descuenten 10%, pero a los concejales, a los large cónsuls que han dicho que no, ustedes deben de saber quiénes son sus nombres para que la próxima vez no voten por ellos. No voten por ellos, porque ellos deben estar en la parte de nosotros, porque nosotros somos de Chelsea. Ellos también, ellos han nacido acá, ellos han vivido acá, pero ellos tienen que tener más consideración por nosotros que somos residentes y que nos tienen que apoyar mucho.
Doña, ¿cuál es su dirección? Su dirección.
78 Blossom Street, why?
No, because we need it for the record.
Oh,
Thank
I
you.
see. Don't count on me. My water bill probably next month is going to be higher twice. I try to don't use the toilet, believe me.
You have 1 more minute.
Okay. And thank you very much for the councils and everybody who agree and help the residents. Who they are no thank you.
So I only have one source of income, and so I want to remind people, I want them to know what the name of all the people who voted yes are. I want you to pay attention, and I want you to know their names, and next time you're going to vote, and that's very important. So remember their names, okay?
Él quiere que él está hablando que quiere saber quiénes son los concejales que han votado por
Doña,
que no.
Doña,
I'm sorry, yeah.
ya se terminó su tiempo.
Okay, no,
Lo siento.
for that, I was interpreting.
No, ya.
Good evening. My name is Mark Rossi. I live at 55 Clark Avenue in Chelsea. Some of you may know me. I'm the chairperson for the Licensing Commission. I'm also the chairperson for the Human Rights Commission and former city council candidate. I'm here to express my disappointment with regard to this latest water bill rebate. And just as a reminder to the individuals, the 7 individuals who voted in favor of this, when you were voted into office, you received a vote of trust, a trust that you and your capacities would represent not just your constituency, but also the city. By voting in favor of this water rebate, what you have done, in my view, is arbitrarily and unfairly chosen a group of individuals to shoulder the burden for people who already have the means of redress with regard to this rebate. What I can suggest to you as a resident and as a lawyer in the community is that you take the opportunity that Ms. McLean and the other senora suggested in reconsidering your positions with regard to this vote. It's not too late to undo it and make it fair, because right now it is unfair. What I can also say as a lawyer is that I would hate to have to sue to seek injunctive relief with regard to this proposed rebate, but I will. Me llamo Mark Rossi. Hablaré rápidamente. Me llamo Mark Rossi. Yo soy un residente aquí en Chelsea. También soy abogado con oficina ubicada en la ciudad. Estoy diciendo que no es justo. Estos concilios, en mi opinión, están actuando en una manera injusta, porque están tratando de cobrar un grupo de gente sin justicia para pagar por un otro grupo que tiene oportunidad de recibir un descuento en los pagos de agua. Estoy básicamente diciendo que espero que se reconsideren sus posiciones. ¿Por qué? Como la señora dijo, vamos a recordar los concilios que votaron en contra de el grupo más grande en la ciudad. Y si estamos hablando sobre, I'm going off message, I'm not doing a strict translation, but if we're talking about home ownership, there are more condo owners than there are single-family homeowners in the city. And we won't forget that. I won't forget it. Estoy diciendo que hay más dueños de condo que dueños de casas solteras. Okay. ¿Cómo se dice? Cinco, ok, como una casa, no un condo. Y vamos a recordar el récord de votación.
30 more seconds.
Okay.
And if you could
vamos a
just stick
recordarlo.
to English, we do have translator services.
All right. Anyways.
That would be nice.
All right. So, again, Mark Rossi, resident. I hope you reconsider your positions on this issue. It's unfair in my view. Thank you very much.
Good evening. My name is Joel Romero Martinez. I'm from 24 Court Street. I'm a lone resident of the City of Chelsea. And first and foremost, I'd like to congratulate the councilors who voted for the 10% of the water. However, I can see a lot of what's the word I'm looking for here? A controversy here. Some are in favor, some are against. I just want to remind you that when the FBI building came to the city of Chelsea,
right.
You guys bought it 50% off of them for 15 years. All right? This isn't 10%, 50% of an organization that has a lot of money. These people in here are hardworking people of the city of Chelsea. These people in here is the salt of the earth here in Chelsea, and we got 10%. And you guys complaining about that 10%, that the other ones that vote against them? For the one who vote for it, I applaud them. I give you my vote any given day. That's all I got to say, nothing else. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Norialis de Jesus. I'm a resident of Chelsea, 31 Lewis Street. I am a parent to 2 children in the public schools. I have worked in the community for over 11 years. And I have worked with you guys on numerous policies that we have passed in the city, including wage theft ordinance and the Community Preservation Act, that are great things that we have brought to the city of Chelsea. I'm here today to please ask you guys to reconsider the decision that you've made on the water bill exemption. On behalf of the Chelsea Collaborative, we do not agree that choosing a specific group of individuals to benefit from this policy will benefit the community. We cannot practice fair housing laws if we're not inclusive to everyone that lives in the community. The Chelsea Collaborative is in the business of bridging both homeowners and tenants to make sure that they are seeing themselves as a unified community, longtime residents of Chelsea, making sure that our tenants are supported and our homeowners are supported, but we cannot do that for just choosing specific individual groups. I would also like to add that I look forward to continuing to work with you guys as we work with the tenant councils and the housing authorities to continue to redevelop our affordable housing and to preserve those units in our community for affordable housing families. So I will leave you because pretty much everyone that has talked before me I agree with the statements and the ask to please reconsider, but just remember that the Chelsea Collaborative is constantly in the streets, door knocking and talking to the communities and making sure that their voices are being heard and that our mission in the community is based on their voices. And what we have gotten so far through these conversations is that we need affordable apartments for our working class community, right? Our working poor, the families that are working multiple jobs and still can't keep up with the hiking rents. We need to make sure we're preserving the affordable housing units that we already have, including our housing authority units in the community. And we need to make sure that our homeowners, our local homeowners that are living in Chelsea, take pride in our community because they live in Chelsea, are also being protected and supported. So thank you, and I hope that you reconsider.
Good evening, City Council. My name is Yesenia Alfaro. I live on 12 High Street, and also I work at the Chelsea Collaborative and representative of School Committee for District 8. I'm here today as a homeowner, and just to be honest with you, right now it's like my husband and I, we have an income combined, and we cannot even afford to pay the water bill and the sewers. And every time that I come, I will urge the city clerk to check their automatic electronic billing system, because I was indicated that my bill that is for $1,799, according to the record, is that I have not been making payments since March. I print out all my bank statements. I printed out all my receipts that I made a payment online to prove that was otherwise. So I urge that, they check that. Also, I will also say that the people that should be penalized for the water and the sewers are these big corporations like the SBI, like One North, like, like other buildings that are coming and that are displacing residents that look like me, residents that the only thing that we do when we migrate here is work hard to sustain our families, and the only things that we do here is to make a community. And I feel that homeowners like myself and many others here are being displaced, that they are playing favoritism to other big corporations, to other big management, like Maverick Associates, that are bringing the rent really up the sky for people that are, not even able to pay it. Imagine people like myself and my husband and many other homeowners here that are trying to make a living, to spend time with their kids, that due to these increases of water, we have to look for alternative other jobs so that we can be able to afford living in Chelsea.
One more minute.
Thank you, Damaris. So that being said is that when I file my taxes too, I've been indicated by my accountant that we are paying more water than in Arlington. We are paying the higher rate than in Cambridge. So take a look at those, do a research before you, make those decisions for those city councils that are trying to make Chelsea maybe another Somerville or Cambridge. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Angel Mesa. I live in 5 Clay Street. Long-time resident of this city. I was not thinking about coming to this meeting, but I know there has been debated already 3 times. Last year I was here in this microphone, and I was what was considered for many of us unfair break to the owners of the FBI building. And some of the people who are organized, the condo owners this time, it become really extremely angry about the decision or the motion that one of the council submit to the whole council to give that break of 10%. So the 10% really is, we are homeowners, and you know it, is not going to make you in bankruptcy with that 10%. I think it's misinformation, misleading, that you're going to break because of the 10%. I think this is a cracked misunderstanding, for not saying something else. I appreciate that the council submit the resolution to get favor some of the people who own a house here for a long time. And I don't think it's fair for owners that live outside Chelsea. They don't give a damn about the tenants, and this city get the same treatment. And I think that's going on. Those related to the industry, of development. I would like to see all these condos or owners of condos that have come to speak tonight to speak in behalf of lots of thousands of tenants that already have been displaced in this city because high rocketing of the rent. Tell me the truth. It has been right rocketing of the rent in Chelsea or not? Of course. A lot of people, I get a lot of phone calls. People, I got to move, Tito. I can't afford to pay because the rent went out. It went up and went up. And some of the apartments are really in bad condition, but people still pay $400, $600, $2,000 a month, and you're making $15 an hour. So this is, I think, an issue, and I'm sorry, and the way I feel it is a taxpayer that we've been put to waste a lot of time, and an issue that wasn't an issue. If it's not somebody that might be disappointed of the vote, the first vote of the resolution of the city council. I think that you have a responsibility to lead us and represent us. And in fairness, like you deal with the SBI building, right? The minority of this council submitted, accepted, passed it, and today is the third discussion on this issue. I ask you not to redown what you have already voted. I ask you that consider some of the owners that live here in Chelsea and work it out. Always is a way to work it out, to look for solutions. But don't tell me that you're going to play that game of redoing something that was voted by majority. Majorities should be respected, and you should follow the rule. The majority submit to the minority, and that 10% should go on in action next year. Thank you very much for listening to me.
Hi, my name is Jean Folco. I'm from Chelsea. I live at 55 Watt Street. I've been a resident of Chelsea for many years. I'm on the board of the Inns Residence apartments on Central Ave, and I take care of all the tenants and stuff. And we would like to know if we could have another meeting for the councilors November 20th. And that's really about it. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Good evening. My name is Teresa Charapica, 21 Prospect Ave. And I've been here to a few meetings listening on this. So, by the way, that last vote doesn't affect my household. I'm already on that senior discount, so I don't have to worry about it. But my point is, I think the citizens who are residents who own the houses should get something from the city. We keep getting raised, the water keeps going up and up and up. And at one time, I remember we had, they put in meters so someone from the city didn't have to come to your house to get a water reading. And at that point, the city was rating 9% for administrative cost, for when you don't need as many personnel. And also in the past, this city council, not necessarily you sitting out here, voted for corporations to come in and get 75%, 50% discounts on their real estate taxes for like 5 years. And after 4 years, I remember one, there was the old American Optical on William Street. After about 4 years, they quit the city, didn't pay any taxes. But the citizens of the city, the homeowners, they keep getting raises every single year. And that's, and then you keep giving discounts to all these corporations. I think it's about time you start thinking about the citizens, the homeowners, whether you keep the rates down or discount, whichever way, do that. I mean, the quality of life in the city is important. I mean, you take your car. My kid's sister lived in my house. She moved out like an hour away. Her insurance right away went up half the price just because she moved an hour away. We have to pay for, because all the accidents on the bridge, we have to pay all that. And then we have a lot of tax-exempt properties in the city that don't pay anything in taxes, and the rest of us have to pick it up. So we just want to consider you got to do something for the people who live here, who've been here for a long time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Buenas noches a todos.
Good evening to everybody.
Sé que muchos me conocen. Mi nombre es Vicente Pérez. Vivo en la 59 de la Cherry Street.
I know a lot of you know me already. I'm Vicente Perez. I live on 59 Cherry Street.
Yo estoy viendo que esto lo quieren tomar como negocio ya, esto de ustedes aquí con este montón de impuestos que están imponiendo.
And I see that you're turning this all into a kind of a business with all the taxes that you're putting on us.
He estado escuchando a los compañeros que estuvieron hablando anteriormente y estoy bastante de acuerdo con ellos.
So I was listening to what my colleagues before me were saying, and I agree with a lot of what's been said.
Y cuando ustedes han hecho cosas buenas aquí, también se los he dicho personalmente a los que conozco muchos, también les digo que están haciendo las cosas bien.
And when you guys have done something well, I've said it to you personally, because I know a lot of the people here. So I do say it when you guys are doing a good job.
Pero en este caso déjenme decirles, compañeros, que yo creo que están equivocados.
But in this case, I have to say to you that I think you're wrong.
Porque ustedes saben, ustedes vienen del mismo lugar donde nosotros venimos, con la misma pobreza que nosotros tenemos, con las mismas consecuencias que nosotros venimos, muchos aquí, y ustedes saben la manera de vivir de todos nosotros y el trabajo que pasamos.
And you all know where we come from. You come from the same place. You know the poverty that we came from. You know the consequences and the reason we came here. So you know what the conditions were like.
¿Ustedes saben qué tan difícil es aquí poder comprarse una casita?
And you know how hard it is to buy just a little house.
3 trabajos, durmiendo a las 2 de la mañana y despertándose a las 4.
3 jobs, going to bed at 2 and waking up at 4.
Ajá, y solo porque unos cuantos muchachos se reúnen y inventan, ya quieren subir.
And just because some boys get together and decide that they want to do this?
Por eso les digo, creo que estamos un poquito equivocados y somos humanos, podemos reflexionar.
And that's why I think we're wrong, but we're humans and we can reflect on this, or what we've done.
O no vaya a ser que lo que he estado pensando últimamente, que a los latinos que tenemos casa aquí, quieren que las vendamos para que los vayamos y solo vengan otra gente de otro lado.
But I think sometimes the Latinos who have homes want to sell it so that other people can come and move here instead.
Con el permiso, Vicente, estamos un poco confundidos. ¿Usted está contra?
Yo estoy en contra.
Okay.
En contra de lo que ustedes están
He's
haciendo.
against the 10% discount. Ya, pregúntale.
El aumento que ustedes están queriendo dar y quieren quitar. No,
He's confused.
lo aprobaron, pero lo pueden quitar.
Yeah, please. Un momentico, Vicente.
Las que hablan español, se lo voy a explicar en español porque creo que hay una gran confusión de qué es lo que ustedes están pensando. Lo que vino aquí ante el Consejo y lo que estamos ofreciendo es un descuento. ¿Cuántas personas aquí son dueños de casas? ¿Ustedes viven en sus casas en Chelsea? Ok, lo que nosotros estamos ofreciendo, 7 de los concejales votaron a favor para darle un descuento, levanten la mano los dueños de casa que viven en sus casas, para darle un descuento a ustedes, no un aumento, un descuento de 10% a los dueños de casa que viven en su casa. Si usted vive en su casa, aquí en Chelsea, y es propietario en Chelsea, les estamos ofreciendo un descuento de 10%. No estamos aumentando. Ese es un punto de vista. el punto de vista contrario, que son de los inquilinos, entonces aquí los que están en contra son los inquilinos y los propietarios de condominios. Son esas personas que están en contra de esta posición porque no quieren que se le dé el descuento a ustedes, a los propietarios de casa. Entonces, eso lo quiero dejar entendido. Si usted es inquilino, esas personas están en contra. Los dueños y propietarios de casa es el único beneficiante de este descuento. ¿Entienden? Okay.
Okay. And before,
pero hay que dar.
Hold on, counselor. Hold on. I understand emotions are high, but there needs to be a level of decorum here. I'm just trying to make sure that we're being transparent for everybody that's out there. Perdona, señora, usted no puede hablar.
Esa fue la traducción.
So if you can translate that into English, and if there's something that you feel
Yes.
we're not capturing, counselor, then feel free to let me know, and we'll make sure to let the public know. But I refuse for you to continue to make a circus out of us, period. Counselor.
Okay, so just a brief translation of what I just said in Spanish. It was just translating. There was some confusion with some of the residents and homeowners that came to speak. They were under the impression that what we were voting for was an increase in their water bill. So it was very important for me to translate in their own language the fact that it's not a 10% increase, that it was actually a discount. So on the other end, I know that, so all I translated, and just to clarify and to be fully transparent, all I translated was the discount. So I didn't go into the counter argument of the position. So
We've got this. We've got.
So the counter so if you want to translate the counter argument, you can go ahead.
Boy, what is it that what's the point that you
Que
want?
concejal,
Counselor, I'm asking you to speak through the chair on
through the
what
chair.
it is that you feel is not being.
there was not a full detail about the discount, how it was presented. So
On
I'm
the
asking.
condos to specify the water meter
Exactly,
part?
and how,
Okay.
that's it.
Can you specify, counselor, in Spanish about this also applies, the discount, the burden will be shifted to those that are owners of condos that do not have their own water meter.
Okay.
And renters.
And renters, she said inquilinos.
And renters. Okay.
I've got this. Thank you. Counselor Garcia, go ahead, please.
Ok, so ahora voy a traducir el otro punto de mi colega, que mi colega cree que es muy importante también ser transparente en todo aspecto. Y entonces, aquí les va la explicación. Entonces, el lado opuesto de esta decisión y esta medida que hemos votado, pero no ha sido finalizada, es de que al darles a los propietarios de casa, ustedes que viven en sus casas y son dueños de sus casas, al darles a ustedes un descuento, desafortunadamente esto va a afectar a los inquilinos, a los dueños de condominios, igualmente, who else am I missing?
Tenants.
Y a todos los demás que no sean propietarios. Así que las personas que no sean dueños de su casa, se cree, el lado opuesto, es de que al darles a ustedes este descuento, esto inadvisiblemente le va a afectar a las demás personas, ya de que se asume de que automáticamente va, de alguna forma u otra, subirle el bill, la cuenta del agua a los demás. Entonces, ese es el debate. Lo que están pidiendo el lado opuesto, han habido personas que han subido al podio, que están en contra de darles a ustedes este descuento. Lo que ellos alegan es de que desafortunadamente vamos a darles ese cobro a los demás y eso es lo que ellos no quieren. Así que ahí están las dos monedas del debate. Si se les da el descuento a ustedes, otras personas se van a ver afectadas porque se cree de que se les va a subir y se les va a aumentar el agua y los demás concejales creemos de que lo más justo es darles un incentivo a los dueños de casa que viven en sus casas. So,
Boy,
I
do you
hope
feel that we captured everything? Okay, yeah.
So I will. So what I was briefly explaining was the other side of the argument. So part one was, as I mentioned already, the fact that what we're actually doing is offering a 10% discount for homeowners, but it was also important to translate the other side of the argument, which is the tenants who claim, who feel that this measure will definitely affect them, not only the tenants, but the condo owners and all the other residents. So it was important for me to explain both sides of the argument here so everyone could know what's happening before they give their statements. So that being said, does that justify?
All right, so moving on, public speaking is closed. Moving on to the next order.
Approval of the minutes, Madam Chairman.
Can I get a motion? Move to accept and file, Councilor Avellaneda.
Okay.
Move to accept and file.
Suspension. Communications from the city manager. Appointments to boards and commissions. Dear councilors, pursuant to Section 4-2 of the Charter of the City of Chelsea, I'm writing to recommend the following individuals to boards and commissions in the city. For appointment to the Youth Commission, Mr. Jose L. M. Palacios Tesh, 893 Broadway, Chelsea, for a term expiring on June 30th, 2019. For appointment to the Planning Board, Ms. Mimi Rancator, 44 Beacon Street, Chelsea, for a 3-year term expiring in 2021.
Seeing none, so moved.
Next, communication, housing preferences. Dear councilors, I am writing in response to a request that in any housing development that secures city financial assistance, whether by way of a TIF, a direct subsidy, or otherwise, the city require that Chelsea residents be given a preference for available units. Please note that thus far in my tenure, the city has not provided financial assistance in any form to a housing development. Nonetheless, you do have my commitment that in future circumstances where the city does provide such assistance, I will require, to the extent allowed by law, that the Chelsea residents be granted a preference. Typically, the maximum local preference allowed by law is 70% of the units. One final point, I do expect that in the near future, the city will be making a request to support the redevelopment of the Chelsea Housing Authority Innis apartments by means of a TIF. That development will include the restoration of 96 Chelsea Housing Authority units. The city will ensure that the maximum local preference allowed by law applies to that project.
Chair recognizes Councilor Recupero.
What this says is,
What is your motion, Councilor?
is that a motion?
Accept
Yeah.
and file?
Yes, to accept that and file the communication.
Okay, did you want to
I'd like
speak?
to speak on it.
Go ahead.
What this says is it guarantees that the poor people of the city, if the city helps any development, gets any type of money, or any TIF, or even if it doesn't get money, even if the city says, because right now there's a system that they use in place, that the city guarantees a lot of these places that build affordable housing go, and the city says, okay, they're going to come to our city, and the federal government gives them money. And in other words, that's also a system that the city could use. It could make all these people that are getting any type of money, any type of assistance from the city, make sure that the majority of the people that come to this city are affordable housing for the people that live in this city. Right now, the affordable housing of this city is not affordable for the people that live here. Okay. So it's not a good thing to have affordable housing for the people.
Counselor, can you just stick to the order, please? To the communication?
All right. So this just says, it guarantees that, doesn't guarantee, but it helps, in a sense, to let the people that are here stay here and get affordable housing units.
Next communication. The next communication. You want to speak?
Councilor Lopez.
So this order that Councilor Recupero and I put in is just to allow the people that live in Chelsea and looking for affordable housing, so the city will check on all the people that are the construction companies and give 70% to the people who are looking for affordable housing. Thank you.
Well, next order of business.
Calvin wants to speak.
Councilor Brown.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to correct the order. The order actually says that the city this order requires that the city gives Chelsea residents preference for available units. It doesn't say we guarantee that the residents are going to get the units. It says we give preference to city residents, which is a good thing, and I support it. It also says that the city will ensure that the maximum local preference allowed by law will apply to these projects. So we don't want folks to leave out thinking that, it's going to be guaranteed every resident of Chelsea, when they apply, will get these things. We as a city councilor, we have spoken to the city manager and the law department to have them write this up. And it's our will, it's our hope that we will be giving out the high preference for residents of Chelsea. Thank you.
Okay, next communication. The next communication is the master plan. Dear councilors, I'm writing in response to the council order regarding the city's progress on a master plan for the city. As you may recall, the city has requested previously that prior to commencing a master plan, we complete our housing plan, our open space plan, and our municipal harbor plan, all of which would likely inform the master plan for the city. 2 of those plans are now complete. The third, the municipal harbor plan, should be completed and hopefully approved by the Commonwealth in the first half of 2019. That will allow us the opportunity to begin work on a master plan sometime next year. Toward that end, we will be including at least $200,000 in our FY20 CIP for the consultant work and necessary to complete such a plan.
Chair recognizes Councilor Tejada.
I'd like to accept and file this communication under suspension if there's no objection.
Seeing none, so moved.
The next communication from the city manager, notice of waiver of intent. Pursuant to the Administrative Code, Section 112.02, I am writing to notify you of my intention to hire Ms. Alicia LeDuc, 5500 North Main Street, Fall River, Massachusetts, for the position of crime analyst in the Chelsea Police Department, and to grant her a waiver for the residency requirements set forth in the Administrative Code, Part 4, Section 112.01. There was one Chelsea candidate who met the minimum requirements for the position. However, Ms. LeDuc has superior skills, experience, and educational achievement. A copy of Ms. LeDuc's resume is attached. In accordance with Section 112.02, I request that you provide me with any comments on the proposed waiver within 7 days.
Any motions? Accept and file the communication. No? We don't need a roll call or anything on it, right?
No, I don't think so, no.
It's outside of our power. He's just letting us know
It's
that he's
administrative
giving a
code,
waiver.
right. The next communication is Salvation Army Building. Dear councilors, I am writing in response to the council order requesting consideration of a community center for the Salvation Army site. As you know, the city's intent is to draft a request for proposals for redevelopment of that Salvation Army property. Work on the RFP is ongoing. It is my expectation that, in addition to the development of housing on the upper floors, the city will be seeking some combination of commercial and community uses on the ground floor. We will also be exploring any and all available grants and all other state and local resources to help subsidize the use of that ground floor space. However, the final design and ultimate use of the site will likely be informed by the responses we receive to our RFP. I ask that the council be patient for a few more months while we complete the RFP and determine a level of interest in this site.
Chair recognizes Councilor Recupero. Communication under suspension. Okay, you have the floor.
We have this building that we bought, the Salvation Army. I don't know what the city's doing with it or what it intends to do. It says here what it intends to do with it. So did the city become a landlord? Are we going to start renting the apartments upstairs when it's going to be built? That's what this says here. All available grants, other. So what are we going to do with this building? What are we going to? We're going to sell it again, give it to somebody else to redevelop, or the city's development it itself? You know, for that, we might as well use it for at least give something back to the community. It's a community center, which we've been trying to get for a while, where everybody uses. A community center is a place for everybody, any age, any sex, anything. Anybody that lives in this city can use it, and it's free, like they do in other cities. I know we're always saying this city never has any money, it has this, it has that, but it never wants to give back to the people. Give back something to the people that are here in some ways. You go to East Boston, they got 3 community centers. They tell you, well, we can't afford one. Everybody, but you can't afford other things when it matters to what you want to do. But you can't afford something when it matters for the people or the young people of our city. Afford for them too. Where there's a will, there's a way. So why not try? If you never try, you never know.
Thank you. Next order of business.
The next communication, fiscal year 2019 tax rates. Dear councilors, I am writing to request that the Chelsea City Council schedule a subcommittee on conference on Monday, November 5th, 2018, or on a more convenient date soon thereafter for the purpose of discussing the fiscal year 2019 tax rates. Similar to past years, my goal at that meeting is to provide a PowerPoint presentation and then answer questions about the FY19 valuations and the tax rate. I also ask that the City Council schedule a public hearing with the Board of Assessors on Monday, November 19, 2018, for the purpose of voting on a minimum residential factor and setting off the tax rates for FY19.
Chair recognizes Councilor Tejada.
Committee on conference, please.
Under suspension. So moved.
Under suspension.
Got it.
You got it. You what's up?
Final communication from the city manager, request for appropriation of overlay surplus to the Assessors Department.
Waive the reading, accept and file a communication under suspension.
Communications and petitions to the council. We have a copy of a communication received from Chelsea resident Charlene McLean.
Chair recognizes Councilor Rodriguez.
I move to waive all the readings and accept and file altogether. And if we could just say the names and quickly summarize what they said.
Okay, so we have a number of communications from the public with respect to the 10% water discount rate. So we're just going to name the name of the person and their address for the record, but we're waiving their reading. But all of them are against the 10% discount.
Charlene McLean, Eric Peters, Brighton Dusham, Christine Thomas, Suzanne Perry, Julie Shannon.
And there's also
There's
another one.
Yeah, in the back.
It's I, from Cynthia Passioni.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah, all accepted and filed.
All accepted and filed under suspension.
The next communication is from the Chelsea Housing Authority. Let me see what I am. Which one is that? 7G. 7G. We have a copy of a communication received from Executive Director of the Chelsea Housing Authority, Mr. Al Ewing, with regards to requesting to schedule a subcommittee meeting on the Innis Development Project.
I'd ask for the communication to be read if there's no objections.
Any objection to the communication being read?
Dear Council President Vido, Thursday, October 11th, the Innis Development Team met with the City Manager Ambrosino. The purpose of the meeting was for us to understand the steps needed to move the project forward as time is of the essence so that the $16.5 million awarded and reserved by the state are not at risk of being reallocated to other projects. Also in attendance were Assistant Manager Ned Keefe, Planning and Development Director John DePriest, Assistant Director Alexander Train, Planner Laddell, Economic Development Director Carl Allen. From the development team was Sean McReynolds and Ronnie Slayman from Joseph J. Corcoran Company, the selected developer, and Brian Callahan, their permitting consultant. Councilor Robinson was in attendance as well as myself. I know you had scheduling conflict and was not able to attend, but as promised, I want to keep you informed of the project status. We provided a brief update of our progress since our last meeting in April. These updates were the same included in the presentation I gave to you on August 1st, and more recently to other councilors. Just to name a few, these updates including allocating 40 middle-income units, securing 50 additional parking spaces off-site, a proposed TIF, and the need for a home rule petition. For the meeting, we have a better understanding of the process required and will be working with the planning development to finalize our draft 40R zoning application. Before we submit the 40R application, we would like to update the City Council as an entire body. From our discussion, November 20th would be the best date to schedule the update and a subcommittee meeting. There are no other meetings on this date for the City Council, Planning Board and Zoning Board of Appeals, and this date works for the entire development team and other city officials. Securing this date will give us adequate time to inform our residents of the Innis Apartment and residents of Chelsea so they may have a chance to comment on the project. Can we schedule for that date, please? We respectfully request that you schedule a subcommittee meeting on the Innis Development Project on November 20th, 2018. Thank you for your time and consideration. We look forward to the opportunity of updating you on the City Council of the latest progress on the project.
What do you want to do with the communication?
Be so kindly to schedule a conference.
Yeah, there's something coming up under new business.
And let's see where we are. 7H. We have a communication received from the City of Chelsea Economic Development Planner, Mr. Carl Allen, regarding a request for a subcommittee on conference to discuss the Chelsea Creek Municipal Harbor Plan.
Thank you, Councilor Bishop.
Okay. Second readings.
Yep.
Second readings, Madam Chairman. First order under second readings is appointments to the boards and commissions. We have an appointment to the Human Rights Commission, Ms. Fatima Malara, 9 Garland Street, Chelsea, to fill the unexpired term. The term expires on June 30th, 2019. For appointment to the Chelsea Historical Commission, Mr. Alan Maringolo, 165 Cottage Street, for a 3-year term expiring in 2021.
Can I have a motion? Councilor Brown?
Appointments.
Okay, move to a roll call vote on the appointments. One for both?
One for both.
Thank you.
Councilor Vido?
Yes.
Councilor Lopez? Councilor Rodriguez? Councilor Brown?
Yes.
Councilor Bishop?
Yes.
Councilor Tejada?
Yes.
Councilor Avellaneda?
Yes.
Councilor Robinson?
Yes.
Councilor Pilatanda?
Yes.
Councilor Garcia?
Yes.
Councilor Ray Recupero? 11 in favor, none opposed, motion adopted. We have for a second reading the order introduced by Councilor Recupero, ordered that the city manager look into having a real statue of John Ruiz made because of he was the first Hispanic heavyweight champion that came out of Chelsea, and he was very proud to be from Chelsea.
Chair recognizes Councilor Recupero.
Objection to speak on it?
Any objections? No? You have the floor.
When they did John Ruiz Park, that's former city manager put a statue made out of metal. It should a statue to whatever he is, he should be recognized with a statue, a real statue, not a piece of iron. For one, he was the first Hispanic to have a heavyweight championship, and also he lived in Chelsea for many years, and I was very proud to say he came from Chelsea. So why, they turned around and gave him a piece of metal. It's not for John Ruiz. It's for all the Latins together. He was a Latino, the first Latino. He should have been recognized with a statue, a good statue, not a piece of iron. So the city should go back and put a normal statue. Every other heavyweight champion or statues that they have everywhere are made out of some type of either bronze or they're made out of stone. This guy, this gentleman, he ended up getting a statue that was made out of metal that rots away. That's not how you say you recognize someone that was the first of his kind. He was the first Latino to actually win something, and he came from here. Why not recognize him the same way as every other champion is recognized, with a real statue instead of a cutout?
Thank you, Councilor Recupero. Anybody else? Okay, moving on.
New business.
New business.
First order under new business, order introduced by Councilor Bishop. Ordered that the Chelsea City Council authorize appropriation of $65,668.60 as a transfer from Special Revenue TNC Surcharge Distribution Fund 5019 from funds distributed to Chelsea from the Commonwealth Transportation Infrastructure Fund.
Chair recognizes Councilor Bishop.
Move for a second reading for the councilors that weren't here for the Finance Committee meeting. This is the funds that were raised through the use of Uber and Lyft in the city of Chelsea. We thank them for using Uber and Lyft. $65,668.60, which will be used for sidewalk and street repair.
Next order introduced by Councilor Vido, order that a subcommittee conference be held with Planning and Development to discuss re-imaging Broadway and next steps.
I recognize this Councilor Tejada.
Adopt that under suspension if there's no objection.
Seeing none.
Next order introduced by Councilor Vido, order that a subcommittee conference be held with the city treasurer and city manager to discuss how to expand a 10% water discount to owner-occupied condo owners who don't have individual water meters.
Can I have a motion from anybody? Adopt under suspension. Councilor Lopez moves to adopt under suspension,
Next order introduced by Councilor Vido, order that a subcommittee conference be held with the Chelsea Housing Authority and Corcoran Management to update the council on status of the project.
Yep. Councilor Bishop moves to adopt under suspension.
Next order introduced by Councilor Avellaneda and Councilor Robinson. Ordered that the 10% water and sewer bill discount for owner-occupied owners of single-family, multifamily, and condos with a separate water meter be repealed, and that the subcommittee on conference hold a meeting to discuss the water and sewer budget.
I actually ruled this out of order last meeting, and I will be doing it again.
Point of information. What rule are you referring to that this is out of order?
It is my opinion, the way I interpreted the City Council Rule number 17, that any measures that come before us that are voted on have to wait 90 days. I also am a little fearful that we're setting a precedent that whenever things don't go our way, that we're going to do this at every council meeting. There's a pending subcommittee that we just adopted under suspension. I don't understand why we're trying to repeal these votes. So I ruled it out of order last week. I'm ruling it out of order again. There is no discussion on it. If somebody wishes to challenge the chair, we can go that route again. But if you keep bringing it up, I will keep voting it down.
That Rule 17.
No. If you challenge the chair, that's sufficient, Councilor.
There's been a challenge to the chair.
The
by
stifling
Councilor
of the
Avellaneda.
debate here is
Councilor Avellaneda,
unbelievable.
I'll
Can you
explain
clarify the
yes.
vote?
A yes would be to uphold the chair's decision to rule this out of order. A no would be to agree with the challenge. A yes would agree to uphold the challenge.
Before we make this vote, can we suspend the rules and ask the city
But
attorney?
this isn't a legal matter. This is a procedural matter. And as president, this is how I interpreted the council rules. I am here, and I decided, in my opinion, the way I interpreted it, that this is out of order. Roll call.
Councilor Vido.
Wait a minute.
A yes would be to uphold the chair's decision.
Okay, so-
A no would be not to uphold it.
Okay.
Councilor Vido.
Yes.
Councilor Lopez.
Yes.
Councilor Rodriguez.
No.
Councilor Brown.
No.
Councilor Bishop.
Yes.
Councilor Tejada.
Yes.
Councilor Avellaneda.
No.
Councilor Robinson.
No.
Councilor Pilatanda.
No.
Councilor Garcia.
No.
Councilor Recupero. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in favor, 6 opposed. The motion is overruled.
So now it's before us.
Now it's before us, probably
Councilor
before you. I need a
Avellaneda,
motion.
You need a motion.
Motion to adopt on a roll call vote.
Okay. You have the floor, Councilor.
Thank you. You know, in this last month, there has been 3 instances where the rules have been misapplied. Our own rules as dictated to stifle difference of opinion, I believe, by the chair, and I think it's unfair. And I can read those rules, but I only have a couple of minutes. This policy of providing a 10% discount to homeowners, single homeowners, and a 2-family homeowner and a 3-family homeowner is unfair, which is why I oppose to it. It's unfair because it's asking those homeowners who are here tonight to get $10 and get it paid by your neighbor, the renter next door, to get $10 from the condo owner next door. That's how it works. In order to give a discount, you have to charge more to the other owners, the other users of water. That's how it works. And that is why many of us feel it's unfair. If you care about your neighbor who's a renter, who's facing higher rents because the landlord has to increase the rent because the water is higher, this is what this does. If you care about your condo owner who lives next to you and also has been there 20, 30 years, as they did down at Mill Creek, you have many people who live down there for 20 plus years who live in a large building and don't have a single water meter in their building, and their water and sewer is paid by a condo fee general, and that they have to pay more to give the single-family homeowner a break, it's unfair. I was elected to represent everybody, and I will fight for everybody. There has been talk here tonight about the FBI building, about a 20-year TIF. Guess what? I also fought to increase the residential exemption for every homeowner in this city. 4 years ago, we passed a resolution to increase from what was there for many years, 20 years, to go up to 35. Last year we went up to 25%. I think this year we're probably going to go to 30%. Me and the city manager had to go to the State House and ask for every single homeowner to get a discount. You get a TIF every year. There's no expiration date on the TIF on your home. It seems that a lot of people are forgetting you get a residential tax exemption. We do that. We do that because we realize taxes, unlike water, which is a utility that is controlled, you have no control over the market rate. 1 year your house is $100,000, the next year it's $200,000, this year it's $450,000, and your tax rate goes up or your taxes go up. And we try to control that by giving that tax exemption. We can't control how much water you use. That's up to you. It's not fair, and that's what we're trying to do. Many of us are not against single homeowners, but we don't think that taking the pocket out of this individual to give it to this individual is right. It doesn't work that way. The problem with the water and sewer rates is across the board. This subject matter was not viewed. It wasn't reviewed at all. Not one city councilor attended the water and rate meeting this past summer. No one was there to talk to the city manager or the public works director when he set the rate. What's going on? No one was there. They just decided in the middle of a meeting, let's pass the discount. They neglected their duty to find out why their water and sewer budget is so high.
1 more minute.
Okay, I propose get rid of this policy, this discriminatory policy that has divided our community into the haves and have-not. Let's go into a meeting and review the budget and knock it down and see why are we higher than the other communities. That's what our job was. They neglected to do the proper role of the city council and review a budget and knock it down. That's what should have been done.
Your time's up, Councilor. Thank you. Councilor Recupero and then Councilor Robinson. You have 5 minutes, councilors.
Okay. My fellow councilor says that all of you pay. You make your tenants pay. But yet, when they voted for the CPA, they don't tell you that you pay. That every person that's here pays, which somebody sponsored. That's one. The next thing that they tell you is people don't have to go to the water meeting to know what the meter is. Does he know that next year your rates will go 9% again, regardless of what you do? That's another thing. And the third thing is the condos are included in that thing. And we have an order tonight that specifically says that we look into giving the ones that have one big meter a discount too. So all the things he's telling you, how about the whole problem is that business doesn't agree with it. And business, when it doesn't agree with it, it's going to affect you, the people, regardless of what you say. The homeowners that are here, that own homes and have tenants, they're not going to raise their rates so high, but the ones that use it for business, it doesn't matter to them. They're going to make them pay, regardless of what it is. That's the first thing. And the second thing is that everybody that lives here that says everything gets shifted to them, everything is going to get shifted to you, regardless of what you do and how you say you're giving this one and you're giving that one. You give everybody everything all the time, regardless of what it is. It's going to increase no matter what you do. So why not keep the homeowners that are here a break, which they deserve? If he's, like my counselor says, oh, the condo owners are not included. Yes, they are. They're included in that order. It's up to them. And now the new order, which we just approved, specifically says that the city manager looking to give the homeowners that are here, that home condos, a way to give them the 10%. So the councilors they voted for are voting for all the people. When you really represent, you say, I'm here to represent. And then he said he gave you 35%. That order was done years ago by me and Mr. Perlatonda to give you 30%, which was going to go into effect. So that's one thing. And the next thing is, no matter what the people do, you're still going to get the same rates. No matter what the city does, it doesn't matter who's they're going to get shifted on. The people pay, regardless if you're a homeowner, a condo owner, or someone that rents here. That's all there is. Él está diciendo, ¿verdad? Que la gente que vive aquí.
No, Counselor, let's let the translators do the translating.
Okay,
And let's
I'll
just stick
finish
to
up
what-
in English.
Please.
So, all these things that you're hearing, that go ask the fellow condo owner, he's included. That's a lie. He's included in there. Then he tells you, whatever he says, oh, well, the burden is being shifted to businesses. Businesses, regardless of what, they're here to make money. Everybody gets shifted. It doesn't matter. Anytime they do anything, they take from this one to give to that one. That's how government works. No government doesn't change. So why not give you, the people that live here, they are the most ones, even the condo owners, what are you crying about? You are included. Huh?
One more minute and speak to me, not to
All
the
right.
public.
The condo owners are included in that order too. If you read it, it says townhouse is a condo. There's a number here. There's something like 682 townhouses, which will be affected. They get it. You know, all of them, and even if you have, there's a way for us. The order that Damali put, the president put, says to help out everybody. So we're not being against anybody. We're being the same thing to give everybody the same opportunity.
20 seconds, Counselor.
That's all I have to say. Nothing left. Thank you.
Thank you. Counselor Robinson.
Well, actually, when this order was first presented to us, I requested that the city attorney weigh in on the matter, and this council objected to it. I don't know why. To the chair.
Stick with your comments, please. Just stop. Do not speak to each other. Speak to the chair.
Sometimes we feel things like this may benefit the whole community, and it doesn't. I was asking for the city attorney to weigh in, as I thought it would be a benefit to city council members, as we all own homes and we get a residential exemption. What is the real cost? Probably in the $500,000 range. The cost of giving this discount to all residents and determined under FY18 rates, it would be roughly $366,000. But that is low because it did not take into account that would apply to not just the owner's unit, but all units. And those FY18 rates are probably 15% lower than expected. FY20 rates, when this takes effect, so the 500,000 figure is maybe a ballpark figure. We don't even know if this kind of a discount is legal. We do a senior discount on water. Homeowner already get the 2 significant breaks, no trash fee and a large residential exemption. The city already provides owner occupants with significant relief on their property and tax bill. We need to rethink this situation, and that is why we are asking you to support this order and go back to ground zero and take it up from there. Thank you, Madam President.
Councilor Bishop, and then Councilor Pelotonda.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I'll be brief as I can be. I favor the discount or lowering the rates for homeowners that live in the city and have lived here for a number of years. I favor lower water rates for everyone. I favor giving the discount also to condo users, and I'm sure a conference was asked for this evening that there is a way that we can find to figure out what they're paying and give them the same exact discount that every homeowner is getting. Water rates are funny things. They go up every year, I agree. But the higher levels, we have built 7 hotels in the city in the last 5 years. We have built the FBI building. We have other large users, the car wash down on Eastern Avenue. There's a lot of big users that use a lot of water. The Water Commission, the people that are setting the rates, can very simply not put this on the condo owners. They can put it on the high user. And that's what I said when I got up at the meeting two meetings ago and said, I don't care about the car wash, how much they pay. I really don't. Because they're going to go up a quarter on the price of a car wash, and people that want their car wash will pay it. But the people that are struggling to pay these bills, not only the water bill, but the tax bills too, and they're coming up at a very near future meeting, we have to stop saying, oh, they're automatically going to go up 10%. We got to stop it. They don't have to go up 10%. We have to cut something in order to keep it where it is at this level. We have to stop going up every year on the water rates, or you're not going to have anybody left here in the city. It's ridiculous. It's crazy. So I favor a discount for the homeowner. I favor a discount for the condo owner. Take the burden and shift it to the people that are running the hotels down there on Everett Avenue. That's all I say. Thank you.
Councilor Pelotonda, and then Councilor Brown. No, Councilor Pelotonda first.
Sorry, Kenna. I'll be brief as well. I mean, it is great that we all want a 10% on a water bill. Of course, I would love one as well. But, you know, there has to be some type of balance here as well. I think that if it's for one, it should be for all. Like this order that was just put in by, you know, President Damali says that the city manager is going to look into a 10% water discount to owner-occupied homeowners that don't have individual water meters. It says look into. I've produced orders before that said look into, and nothing ever got done with it. So are these people going to get 10% as well? Yes. And like my fellow council said, you know, this could be over $1 million towards the city. Yes, we get trash relief, we get owner exemption, but where does it stop? Yeah, I want the 10% too, but I want everybody to get the 10% as well. I mean, so now we get a 10% on our water bill, but does that mean the city manager says, okay, now it gets shifted somewhere else to us? Do we have to start paying for trash, or we didn't have to pay for trash before? Does our taxes go up more? It's gotta, you have to have some balance somewhere. I mean, is this the right thing? Sure, maybe we should talk about it. I don't know, I mean, but like I said, it should be either all across the board or none. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Brown.
So, thank you. So I just believe this order, in my opinion, is not fair to all the residents of Chelsea. I'm not in the business here tonight to provide a benefit to a certain order or sector of groups of residents in Chelsea to expect another group of residents to pay for it. Most of the folks that we're talking about that's going to be hurt by these are actually...
Yeah, can you speak into your microphone, Councilor? Thank you.
Most
Sorry,
of the
Ricky.
folks that we talk about here, I know we have a lot of homeowners here, a lot of condo owners here, but most of these residents that we're talking about are going to be renters, and that is going to cost an additional cost to them in their living expenses. We talk about, you know, this order. This order we're talking about tonight will really, in my opinion, cause rents to go up by having an additional rent that, order that you have to pay money regarding a 10% increase. Someone else is going to have to pick that up. No landlord is going to pick it up. When they sign a lease at the end of the year, they're going to include that into their lease. No public meeting has been called on this here. The only public meeting we've had is what we've had tonight, where folks, a few residents have come up tonight and discussed their opinions regarding in favor or against. I don't think it's fair for the city. I don't think it's fair for the city council to make decisions. It's going to be costly, and also it's going to have a bad impact on our city. By lowering the rates, we're pretty much setting the rates. I don't believe we can do that. I don't believe that that's in our power as a city councilor. I know the MRA, they set the rates. We heard one councilor tonight talk about, yeah, we should be going after them to see them set the rates for the folks that's getting a break. We can't. What we can do is we can talk to our city manager, talk to our law department, and find out how we can discuss it and make a better issue out of it. Physical management. Our job is, that's something that's in our power. We can actually manage how the money is spent to make sure the residents of Chelsea get the best dollar for their buck here. And I think by not putting this order in tonight and really going to a subcommittee and really discussing how many folks will be affected, how many dollars will be spent, not one council member here can tell you tonight how much this will cost us, not one. Because we don't know how many people will benefit from it. We don't know if it's $500,000, if it's $700,000. And one of my fellow council's words right. Someone's going to pay. Someone will pay for this here. If you own a 3-family and you're renting an apartment, your renter will pay. If you own a condominium and you're not living in here, and we talked about those folks, they're going to charge it to the person who's renting out there. So we're not getting away scot-free here. The city's not making any money off this deal here. We're trying to do what's right here, and by doing what's right, we have to be fair to all folks in our city. Just lastly, people were somewhat crucifying the business community here, talking about we should get more for the business community. Every time a business come in here, we have a preference for Chelsea jobs. We have a preference for helping out Chelsea. There's not one major building that's, since I've been a city councilor, business to own a building that has not contributed one way or another to our city.
1 minute, Councilor.
Thank you, Madam President. So I think it's unfair to just go after the business every time we talk about how do we raise money. How do we raise money is we stabilize our accounts. We don't give out the money that we don't have. We have money, and we can talk about it. If you want to come to the financial subcommittees on finance, you'll find out exactly how much money we have. But we have it because we've been doing the right thing here. By doing the wrong thing here tonight, we're going to lose the money that we have, and folks will really be impacted. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Councilor Brown. Anybody else wish to speak on this matter before we vote on it? Okay. Can you reread the order for clarification?
Order that the 10% water and sewer bill discount for owner-occupied owners of single-family, multifamily, and condos with a separate water meter be repealed, and that the subcommittee on conference hold a meeting to discuss the water and sewer budget.
Can you?
Roll call has been requested by Councilor Avellaneda. A yes vote would be to repeal.
Yes.
So if it is repealed, does that mean we automatically kill what we already had voted for?
Correct.
And it can no longer come upon council after?
We'll have a subcommittee on conference.
This wouldn't be able, if it gets repealed, it's also asking for a subcommittee on conference.
Okay.
If it's not, we still have another subcommittee on conference to talk about how to expand the program that we just adopted a few items ago. Oh. Okay, so then.
Can the councilor who submitted this explain?
Councilor Robertson?
Or Avellaneda?
What is the idea?
The motion before you repeals the policy that we set a couple of weeks ago of offering 10% to a segment of the city population. It asks for us to also have a meeting to take a look at the water and sewer budget to see if we can find ways to reduce the cost of the budget, what are the cost factors, and why the rates are what they are. And efforts, the basis is that in that proper manner, we can lower the costs generally, and then also discuss any other measures that can be taken upon.
Okay, thank you, Councilor. I think we have another point of inquiry over here.
Appreciate what you said. Is there any way to write it down to make sure it's not just discuss the water and sewer budget, but to discuss what your intent is?
So it sounds like the intent is to just discuss the water and sewer budget and figure out how to bring it down as a whole.
Yeah, so can
Nothing
we,
about, it doesn't sound like there's any discussion on discount.
No, I get that. And I appreciate what he's trying to do, trying to make it fair for
Yeah.
everybody. I'm just asking for an elaboration in writing.
Well, this is the matter before us right now, Council, so we have to vote on it. And we Just we're responding to Councilor Garcia's point of inquiry. So I think we're at the point where we need to vote for what's in front of us.
Okay. A yes would be to adopt the order, a no would be to deny it. Councilor Vido?
No.
Councilor Lopez?
No.
Councilor Rodriguez?
Yes.
Councilor Brown?
Yes.
Councilor Bishop? No. Councilor Tejada?
Yes.
Councilor Avellaneda? Yes. Councilor Robinson? Yes. Councilor Pilatanda? Yes. Councilor Garcia?
No.
Councilor Recupero? No. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in favor. 1, 2, 3, 5 opposed. Motion adopted.
Okay, Councilor, that is,
Next order of business, ordered that, order introduced by Councilor Avellaneda, ordered that a subcommittee on conference be held to meet with the city clerk's office to discuss the campaign finance filing deadline enforcement policy and the state's Office of Campaign and Political Finance findings of campaign finance law violations by the Vido Campaign Committee.
Councilor Bishop?
Madam Chairman, I was a little surprised when I saw that you allowed this particular order to be placed before the council, and I don't think it's proper to put something in mentioning another city councilor, for one councilor to be going against another city. It doesn't make sense. I think it's out of order. And it's a personal thing. It appears to be a personal thing, and I don't think that those kinds of things should be put on the floor.
I appreciate that. I actually will be ruling this out of order just for the sake of transparency. As president of the city council, I have the right to allow things on the agenda or deny it. This mentioned my name specifically, and so I wanted to be as transparent as possible and wanted to allow it. But I want to assure my colleagues on this council that if ever any order comes before me attacking you personally, I will not allow it on the agenda. I simply just wanted to be transparent, as I have nothing to hide. I have given everyone a copy of the OCPF letter, and I think this matter is totally inappropriate. And Councilor Avellaneda, I understand you wanting to embarrass me, but I just really feel that this is not the place to do it. We're out of order. Do you wish to challenge the chair, Councilor?
No, I was going to say if you want me to take the chair, you can
No.
speak. If not, you're out of order.
No, I'm ruling it out of order.
I'd like to speak on it.
Do you wish to challenge the chair?
Councilor Bishop was allowed to speak on it, and I'm not.
He suggested an out of order call, and I support that. Councilor, are you looking to challenge the chair? Okay, so can I have the clerk clarify the vote?
Councilor Avellaneda has challenged the chair's decision. A yes vote would be to uphold the chair's decision. A no vote would be to not uphold the chair's decision. Yes to uphold, which means it's out of order. No, not to uphold, which means it's on the floor. A yes to uphold the chair. Councilor Vido?
Yes.
Councilor Lopez?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Rodriguez?
Yes.
Councilor Brown?
Yes.
Councilor Bishop?
Yes.
Councilor Tejada?
Yes.
Councilor Avellaneda?
No.
Councilor Robinson?
Yes.
Councilor Pilatanda? Yes. Councilor Garcia?
Yes.
Councilor Recupero? 10 in favor, 1 opposed. The chair's decision is upheld.
Thank you, councilors.
Next order of business, order introduced by Councilor Recupero, ordered that the city manager look into giving CAPIC more funds because winter is approaching and more people will be in need of CAPIC's help with fuel assistance and other services.
Chair recognizes Councilor Recupero.
I'd like to speak on it.
Seeing no objections, you have the floor, Councilor.
Can I say it in Spanish and in English?
No, please say it in English.
Okay. CAPIC is a good organization and never comes up here to ask for any money. You never see them here say, give me, give me, give me. But yet, they give to all the people that need. Anybody that needs it goes to them, and CAPIC helps them. That's who you want to give your money to. You want to give it to organizations that are willing to give it back. And they're the one, and not the ones that come up and always say, gimme, 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 gimme. But what do they give you in return? This one actually gives you. So when you go to them and you're freezing, and if they can, they will give you heat. When you go to them and you need daycare, that will help you. When you go to them and you need clothing, that will help you. So anybody that needs any type of assistance can go to Capic. So if anybody is deserving of any extra money from my city, it should be them, because they give back to our community. And they give back. They gave back to me, and I'm not ashamed to say they gave it to me when I was in need. So they don't discriminate, they fair, they do whatever they have to do and give it to anybody that's in need. So that's an organization that I'm willing to give the money for. Thank you.
Councilor Bishop.
I agree with the councilor. Capic does a lot of good work in the city. The home heating program alone is something that helps an awful lot of people. I was of the opinion that there was going to be a communication here tonight from the Community Preservation Act folks giving away the money that they have collected from the taxpayers on their tax bills. And I don't know if it was pulled or what the story is, but that is not before us tonight. Even though the taxpayers gave money, I think they would just be happy if you gave some of it to Capic, and it would be well-spent money. I think they gave the money to the Community Preservation Act, hoping that something positive would be done, hoping that the state was going to match the money, and those things didn't happen. The only thing left is that the taxpayers get an additional $50 or $70 bill on their tax bill. And I don't see anything happening from the Community Preservation Act people, other than I was told that they were going to divvy out the money to the many organizations in Chelsea. I didn't think that was the point of the capital improvement program. But
Thank you, Councilor.
I agree with Capic, giving more money to Capic.
I'm sorry, Councilor Politonda?
I'll agree with my fellow councils as well. Capic is a great organization. With the few fires that we had in the city not too long ago, Capic was the first ones out there on the scene to help people out, find housing, food, things like that. Also, I recently called Capic. I know some homeless people that weren't in the Chelsea area that contacted Capic. I know those people was sleeping inside of doorways on those few cold nights, and contacted them, and they were going to send a representative out there to help them, whether it be if they wanted to come into a local shelter. If not, they were going to give them some type of gift cards, get them food, get some more clothing to help them out. So there is a great organization, and they do a great job. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. Next order.
Next order introduced by Councilor Recupero, Lopez, Vito, and Bishop. Ordered that a subcommittee of conference be scheduled with the city manager and the city solicitor to discuss the process of the administrative code.
Councilor Recupero.
Suspension if there's no objection.
Seeing none, so adopted.
Next order introduced by Councilor Vito. Ordered that a subcommittee of conference be held with the Chelsea Police Department Community Service Division to provide an update on the hub and the downtown task force.
Councilor Tejada.
Suspension if there's no objection.
Seeing none, so moved.
Final order introduced by Councilor Bishop. Ordered that Chelsea City Council authorize appropriation of $20,000 from the overlay surplus account to the Assessor's Office Legal Services account.
Councilor Bishop.
Move to a second reading.
Move to a second reading.
Second reading.
Yeah, thank you.
So,
Public announcements. Does anybody have any public announcements? Councilor Lopez and then Councilor Brown.
I just want to let you know that one of our counselors that denied you the 10% put in an order for business that he owns, and he benefits $50,000, and he doesn't want to give you 10% on the water and sewer.
Oh my gosh. All right, enough. All right, Councilor, go ahead.
I'm not sure. Obviously, my colleague doesn't know facts, because the order or the tax break that I worked with the city manager to work on for small businesses was for any businesses that had a $10,000 worth of property value, i.e. equipment. Anyone who had that amount would be waived property taxes. So basically, any small business that is an office, and such. My personal business has equipment of over $100,000. I never qualified for that benefit, and I knew going into it that I would never qualify for it,
All
and I
right.
pushed for something for the small
All right.
businesses.
All right.
The fact that Councilor Enyo Lopez wants to make these charges is ridiculous.
All right, okay, thank you. Listen, I'm gonna let me just say something. I have my daughter here. We have kids here. We are looking very circus-like, and it's really starting to counselors, please order. We're adults here. I am just asking that we just display a little decorum that is reflective of the type of representation our community needs. I think this is getting a little out of hand. The personal attacks, we just really need to pull it together and just do the work of the people. It's just getting a little ridiculous. Public announcements only, please. Councilor Recupero.
Announcement is, don't give up. Don't give up on the people that are voting, that are helping you. It's going to be done all over again. In 90 days, they'll be back up again. Don't give up.
I wanted to do a moment of silence. Can we just do a couple of moments silences? No more announcements, just moments of silence, please. No, I'm sorry, Counselor. This is a little too much. Today, we're just going to do, yeah, that's important. Yeah, it's a privilege that we're taking advantage of. So, early voting, Judith, go ahead.
So in all seriousness, a real announcement is that early voting is happening. So if you want to vote early because you can't make it on November 6th, early voting is happening on the second floor. No questions asked. You can just go there, get your ballot, and vote early. En español, un verdadero anuncio es de que pueden votar temprano. Así que si quieren votar temprano, eso puede pasar
Calvin, did you
cualquier
have
día
something else to say
antes del
besides
6 de
voting?
noviembre. En el segundo piso piden su boleta, no se les hace ninguna pregunta y pueden votar temprano. Thank you. Gracias.
Day is this Saturday at the Chelsea Library. I believe it's 11 o'clock to 2. Yes. 11 o'clock to 2. So if you're not doing anything this Saturday, come out to support our literacy program. Thank you.
I'd like to have a moment of silence for Daniel Hooley. Excuse me. Can we have some order just for one more minute? I'd like to have a moment of silence for Daniel Hooley from Captain's Row in Emerald Hill. I'd also like to have a moment of silence for the 11 shooting victims of the Tree of Life synagogue shooting that happened last week. Does anybody else have any other moments of silences? Okay. Seeing no further business before us, we are adjourned.